from The Guardian, hate cannot be reasoned with. So why is Black radio hosting conversations with Candace Owens? And this is from a man named Michael Harriet. And just really quickly, this is his Twitter, writer, board certified white peopleologist. And just imagine for one split second if the roles were reversed. His entire thing is to just complain about white people, apparently. But even in this case, he's complaining about Candace, who, of course, is not white. The darling of the far right recently appeared on The Breakfast Club and Joe Budden's podcast, exploiting Black America's willingness to forgive. What? This is a Black woman who is probably, I think she recently turned 35. She's barely old enough to become president. And this man is curious as to why anybody would talk to her. And that makes it crystal clear that their objective is not to win anybody over. It is to bully and steamroll everybody with their weirdo race-baiting agenda. As a provocateur, Candace Owens stands alone. The recently fired Daily Wire host built a reputation as one of the few Black voices in right-wing media by tossing Black culture and Black people under the conservative bus. Those are all things that you just made up. Okay, fine. It's fair enough. I believe this is an opinion piece, so it makes sense. Actually, doesn't say opinion, but, you know. Who knows? Everything is opinion with the mainstream media at this particular point in time. She embraced Donald Trump's lawlessness while castigating Breonna Taylor, George Floyd, and Black victims of police brutality as thugs and criminals. For Owens, the January 6th insurrection was virtually nothing, which is weird how they always want to cry about January 6th, because any other time they could not care any less about law enforcement or cops or judges, anything, the court system, it's all completely corrupt. But then when it comes to January 6th, oh, we must hold them in the highest order. How dare you? Absolute insanity. While the Black Lives Matter movement is about Black anarchy, she told a congressional subcommittee that white supremacy and white nationalism is not a problem that is harming Black America. And she might be right about that, because when you look at the numbers, the facts, the statistics, which of course these people never want to do, it's pretty clear that the Black on Black crime, which you're not supposed to talk about, is far worse than the big, scary, mean white people, I guess mostly cops, who are killing all the Black folk. According to her, everything wrong with Black America is caused by Black culture and white liberals. Oh, might be kind of true. The great Malcolm X once said, most of our problems are the cause of the white liberals.
The white liberal differs from the white conservative only in one way. The liberal is more deceitful, more hypocritical than the conservative. Both want power, but the white liberal is the one who has perfected the art of posing as the Negro's friend and benefactor. And by winning the friendship and support of the Negro, the white liberal is able to use the Negro as a pawn or a weapon in this political football game that is constantly raging between the white liberals and the white conservatives.
We have the awfuls, the affluent white female liberals.
Greg did a monologue about the awfuls, the affluent white female liberals in the Democrat Party, and that they're so divisive. You know, the ones focused on making sure that your children have hormones because they've decided at the age of 10 that, well, I'm not a boy, I'm a girl, or vice versa, something to that effect.
We're also causing complete chaos. And of course, you have a bunch of weirdo Black puppets like Andrew Gillum and what's that guy, the pastor or whatever. He claims to be a pastor, but he's constantly talking about abortion. I forget his name, but the laundry list is long. Tiffany Henyard, Jasmine Crockett. This, I guess, speaks to my point that I've been making several times. It's not about color. And these weirdos on the left should play that up a little bit more and tell us this is not about color. This is about the content of your character and willingness to bow to the mob at any, no matter how much the truth flies in the face of their agenda. But affirmative action is an affront to whites, like her former bosses at the right-wing youth organization. They try to like compare it to like Hitler Youth. Oh, the right-wing youth organization, even though they're the ones cutting the junk off kids, but you don't want to talk about that. Owens doesn't believe in systemic racism because she's never been a slave in this country. And whether you believe in that or not, it's also kind of funny how these people will go to bat for Bo Jiden, who literally helped create the system, has been in politics for a bare minimum of 50 years. He created this system that we're constantly hearing about, but he's also the person to fix the problem. Absolutely ridiculous. When it comes to anti-blackness, completely made up, she is as remarkably consistent as the angry throngs that spat on third graders, desecrating schools while painting the civil rights movement as violent. To be fair, Owens has no legitimate education, experience, or expertise in politics, media, sociology, or public policy. She's not an expert. She's not an expert, so we shouldn't trust her anyways. Why is she going on the Breakfast Club? Why are these people having conversations with somebody that we're obviously going to disagree with, and rather than try to make a point, we're just going to say, don't listen to her. It's absolutely ridiculous. This is, of course, another prong of the desperation establishment media. She is just a person who says things. Her status as the darling of far-right punditry is solely built on the oxymoron of a black woman who is unapologetically anti-black. You just made that up. Candace Owens is not anti-black, right? I mean, same thing with Stephen A. Stephen A. is not by any stretch of the imagination a Trump supporter, but he's pointing out the things they are doing wrong because he apparently wants to help him. So if she is complaining, same thing with B. Tatum or the twins or really any black conservative, they don't say these things because they hate black people, they're anti-black. They're trying to pick up the pieces. They're trying to clean up what has been destroyed by the white liberal establishment and the, black thugs. But as we know, for the 100th time, the criminal political regime will breed criminal residents, and that's how we got here. Her status as the was solely built on the oxymoron of being a black woman, whatever. So when she claimed she was terrified by the prospect of DEI airplane pilots, the irony that she might be the most unqualified diversity hire in America was lost on her. Wait, so she objected to DEI, so that's hypocrisy because she's also a black commentator? Okay, whatever, bro. Owens has no legitimate expertise. Yeah, she's not an expert. She is not an expert. How dare you? In the past month, Owens has appeared on two mainstays of contemporary black culture, the Joe Budden podcast and the Breakfast Club, where she told hosts that black people had done better under Donald Trump and that welfare had destroyed the black family. Talking directly to black audiences was presented as a bold move for someone who usually presents her anti-black views from the safe space of right-wing outlets. These people are just a lost cause. And I think, at least if I'm going to be nice, if I'm going to go glass half full, silver lining, this man is legitimately just stupid. It's always a back and forth, right? Pelosi, Bo Jiden, Newsom, that's pure evil. That is destructive. Dr. Admiral Richard Levine, whatever, who always wants to cut the dicks off kids, that's pure evil. But I think this guy is genuinely stupid, which could be worse. Unlike many people, I do not believe that Candace Owens' politics cancel out her blackness. Owens is part of the black community, and all black stories are valid. Besides, many African Americans, and shout out to Cameron, who said he wasn't African American, and I never really understood this. Even when I was a little kid, you never said black Canadian, African Canadian, African British. It's just African American when it should just be black, and Cam said exactly that himself.
I'd rather fill in black than African American, because Africans don't even fuck with us.
Wow.
Because they don't.
And Americans do?
Well, you're American, Mace. You're born in America. When you go to the Olympics, and when I say African American, you go over there, they call us Yankees and all that. They fuck with us, but we're not from the motherland. We're from America. So I'd rather say I'm a black American. When we go to the Olympics as a country, and somebody black is fighting from the United States, you don't say African American, you say American. You don't even put a color on it. It's an American fighter fighting a European fighter, or China or Japanese or anything. You're known in the Olympics as an American. It doesn't matter what color you are. You're an American.
But I digress. Many African Americans subscribe to conservative principles. Everyone knows a black Republican. You can usually tell by the quality of their edge up. Oh my God. That's a stereotype, saying that black conservatives don't get a good shape up? Is that what that's supposed to mean? While researching my recent book, Black AF, The Unwhitewashed Story of America, I wanted to use contemporaneous firsthand experiences of black people in America. Free and enslaved, liberal and conservative. What? Well, you're not going to find any enslaved black people right now, bro. As I sifted through archives of black-owned newspapers, journals, and other institutions built to amplify and preserve black perspectives, I encountered a recurring phrase that explains why so many black stories have been erased. It's just not true, right? You're fighting tooth and nail to tell these stories, most of which aren't even true. Burned by a white mob. It is a one-sentence obituary that describes the destiny of the 631 black schools damaged or destroyed between 1864 and 1876. That mob lit the torches that burned Black Wall Street and detonated the bombs that blew. What does this even have to do with Candace Owens, bro? What are you talking about? You want to bring up a historical event that obviously has to be called into question because you guys are lying about everything, from the 30-year-old sexual assault allegations all the way up to Kyle Rittenhouse. I mean, you guys have lied about literally everything, and now you're bringing up an event that may or may not have happened more than 100 years ago because Candace Owens is saying something that you don't like. We have to skip this. This is wild. The attack on Nicole Hannah-Jones was a group project started by a white mob that did not want the 1619 Project, the New York Times Chronicle of American Slavery, to exist. This is absolute insanity. I've heard journalists, hosts, and personalities I know and respect explain why they invite people like Candace Owens, Nikki Haley, who repeatedly refuse to acknowledge systemic racism. Again, how can you acknowledge systemic racism and also go to bat for Bo Jiden? This is insane. And the desperation here, look at this goes on. I'm not reading all this. It's not even worth it. This is absolutely wild. This man spends more than 1,000 words to convince you that Candace Owens shouldn't be able to talk because our mission here is not to change minds and inform people. Our mission is to shut up anybody who disagrees with this completely fake narrative we're pushing forward.